Hi, I'm at TU-Automotive Detroit 2015, and today I'm joined by David Miller, Chief Security Officer, Covisint. Hi, thanks for joining me.
Hi, good to be here.
Briefly, can you tell us, what is your role within Covisint?
So I'm the Chief Security Officer. I'm the guy who tries to keep bad guys out and convince our customers that we have a safe and secure platform.
And as such, where do you see this technology providing opportunities for your business and your sector?
Well, so we provide a cloud service that allows individuals and things, right, in this case it would be vehicles, to connect to the cloud, right, to be able to consume services, right? As we all know now, we're kind of getting more and more connected vehicles, and the ability to connect to them remotely is important, right? And so we provide the technology that makes sure that when you start your car, for example, it's your car that gets started, and that you have a way to authenticate yourself, right? That if you're looking at information about your car, you get the right information. You don't get information about your neighbor's car, for example.
But what's the benefit to the consumer in that sort of siloing of themselves away from everyone, if you like, using technology?
Yeah, so there certainly is the first benefit in the whole connected vehicle space is the fact that now you can kind of monitor your vehicle and you can get notifications and such, right? I've noticed that I think it's guys that like it better than women because they get notified that their wives car needs the oil changed, for example, and they never would have known that until their wife says, I don't know, there's just a red light that's blinking on the dashboard, sort of thing. So you get that sort of item. But the problem is how you get to that information, right? So if I have if I have certainly two vehicles, right? If I have more vehicles, if my kids have vehicles and they're all connected, do I have to go to 5 different places to manage those, right? We think going to one spot where all the information about the vehicles that you have can be basically put into a single spot is a good model.
But what's the challenges for this to happen? I mean, there must be obstacles in the way. It's problems with hacking, perhaps, stuff like that.
Yeah, so that the challenge in general is partially hacking, right? So and everybody is worried about, especially when we get to more autonomous vehicles, where the vehicle may be taking commands to decide to go left or right. And so everyone is a little bit worried about what happens if someone took my vehicle over and ran it off the road, sort of thing. But I think the bigger challenge is really more with private information. So if you think about it, the way a lot of setup happens now is you enter all your IDs and passwords for your social media sites and that in your car so that it can read you tweets and do those sorts of things. And the problem is, well, so what happens when if I give that car to a valet, for example, does he get access to all my IDs and passwords, right? Can he turn the car on and tweet on my behalf, right? Or read my social media stuff, right? So how do you lock that information down, right? How do you deal with privacy information? That really is probably one of the biggest challenges, right? We think moving that information into the cloud and not having it in the car is the way to go. And there's a lot of other vendors, I think, who are kind of moving in that direction as opposed to having it actually, in the vehicle, stored in the vehicle.
Well, you say others are moving in that direction. In, say, 10, 20 years' time, where do you see this sector of the industry being? What's in your mind's eye the average consumer going to be doing in 20 years' time with his connected car?
Well, so there's, if you look at this sector, right, so there are certainly the people who say in 20 years cars will basically be driving themselves completely and no one will drive. And I don't know that that's actually going to be true. I think in the end you're at least going to have to be able to take your vehicle over, if it's raining really hard or it's snowing really hard, right? It's difficult enough for a human being to drive. I don't know that the car would necessarily drive itself completely. So. But there'll be a lot more autonomy, right? Meaning you'll end up doing a lot less driving. And I think what that's going to mean is you're going to want even more of your social life in that vehicle. I mean, are you just going to sit there, right? Or are you going to, and it may be infotainment, right? So watching movies, things like that. But it also could be things, like doing work, right? So writing emails, emailing folks, those sorts of things. I think are going to be a lot more, so that the car is a more immersive experience, much like it is when you're in your office or you're on a train, for example. The ability to be able to do that whole connection.
And finally, an event like this, TU-Automotive, what's the benefit to you and to your organisation for being here?
So It's an opportunity, really, and I like the fact that this is focused, right? Because it's focused really on telematics, right, and the whole connected vehicle program sort of thing. So it's an opportunity first to kind of socialize with a lot of the other vendors that are around, right, to understand what they're doing, right, kind of for us all to talk together about what we're seeing in the industry. Because this is kind of it's the beginning of an industry, right, as opposed to the end of an industry, sort of thing. And so that is good. And then it's a good place to be able to get the OEMs to come to one spot, right? So you can have 11, 12, 13 meetings all in one spot, as opposed to going from OEM to OEM around the world.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.